You are watching Liberty Online TV.
This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange Sierra Leone.
Orange.
Plenty things can happen at the country where the news can capture from politics, the economy, and other human interest issues them. Some of them issues here can dey inside different newspaper them during the week. This make Liberty Online Television. They bring you the Liberty Newspaper Review. Inside this program, we go bring analysts them for look at the most trending topic them inside the newspaper for the week and analyze them for make sense to the public. This go be every Friday, 12 o'clock afternoon on Liberty Television. Watch out, Liberty Newspaper Review. Plenty things can happen at the country where the news can capture from politics, the economy, and other human interest issues them. Some of them issues here can dey inside different newspaper them during the week. This make Liberty Online Television. They bring you the Liberty Newspaper Review. Inside this program, we go bring analysts them for look at the most trending topic them inside the newspaper for the week and analyze them for make sense to the public. This go be every Friday, 12 o'clock afternoon on Liberty Television. Watch out, Liberty Newspaper Review.
And also social media where you watch we. And the Liberty Newspaper Review, they come to you every Friday, 12 o'clock afternoon. Today with me at the studio, I get the opportunity and honor for introduce for the very first time, Abdullahi Cherinosi, the managing editor for the independent newspaper. Good afternoon and welcome to the studio.
Good afternoon and good afternoon, viewers.
All right, that's not the voice of Abdullahi Cherinosi. Of course, this is not the Liberty Newspaper Review. They come to you every Friday, 12 o'clock noon. Now the Liberty Online Televisions, our Facebook and YouTube channel. And remember, I say this program with the review and analyze things them. Of course, top stories them now the front page of the newspaper. Of course, the very first newspaper where I will take with me now the satellite newspaper. We say APC executive is incompetent and deceitful. Away from the satellite newspaper, I get PAC issue ultimatum, pay GST arrears or face bitter consequences, and President Bill destroy United Security Council. And away from the Concord Times newspaper, I get the Independent newspaper, the Aroko newspaper. We see Minister and Zodlap address recent internet shortage, discuss future in connection strategies. Well, these now are some of the newspaper that we will start first for like we can analyze. Of course, Cherinosi will help me for analyze the issue then at the front page. And of course, good afternoon again and welcome to the program, Cherinosi.
Yeah, good afternoon and thank you.
All right, the very first one we go take now the Congo Times newspaper. We say President Bill destroy the United Security Council, the UN Security Council. But then, firstly, when the fact say this now waiting the Concord Times newspaper don't say what do you take on this President Bill destroyed the United Security Council?
Well, on me take on this is like waiting. You know, so currently President Bill now the president for United Nations Security Council for just a month, which is August. And ever since in the history where United Nations was formed, this was the first time in history where they talk about reforms.
Okay.
And we'll find out, see, the world don't grow so hard that Africa need to be part of the system, not only for big backbenchers, because that's what we don't see for a period of time. So the coming of President Bio and call for reforms that Africa countries supposed to be in the permanent seats and the non-permanent seats, which is a welcome, I guess, and to we, a brighter way for Africa for growth.
Okay, so being the fact say President Bay is the president of the United Nations for now, yeah. But then feel say well, waiting President Bay go talking about no, because one of the things that we talk, of course, when we talk about the United Nations Security Council, of course now one organization where they ensure say peace and security always in a country, yeah. But then being the fact say President Bio now be spearheaded that meeting there, and of course I can remember after the meeting he was interviewed by one journalist na Fox TV or so, where they asked the current issue of the former president, that is Anes Bakoma, and of course they tell you say, well, he made a lot of comments with that. But then firstly, one for no reason you take on that, because being the fact say Salon as a country where people can say we not get peace na nation, then you see His Excellency the President go spearhead a United Nations Security meeting.
In the first place, this is a welcome news to Sierra Leoneans, because any kind you look at who say Sierra Leone they are the map right now in terms of the world peace.
Okay.
That's why there are challenges we Sierra Leone still face in terms of these little things that we get, because these are in-house problems. But since Sierra Leone being part of the United Nations and taking decision for reform, to we a welcome news, and Sierra Leone must accept this. We know say there are a lot of challenges, by the way, for Sierra Leone. When you look at now how Africa for change, when you look at the in and out of Africa, things that we're supposed to be. You don't say United Nations they take decision without the consultation of Africa.
Sure.
But being that this president, President Bio, on the currently as the president, if any country, African leaders and all form a team, say that this we need, and it propagates that one day, I think it's a welcome news for Africa, not only Sierra Leone. Then in terms of the issues in Sierra Leone, sometimes it gets a long way for go. Though there are challenges, you get a long way for go. On that issue, they will go deliberate on as time goes on.
Okay, this now a welcoming news for Sierra Leone, as you say, as you rightly mentioned. But then, you don't feel say you're talking of in-house. You don't feel say before you want for bring peace and security in any other country. I think you force within you for ensure say you get a stable peace in your country.
Of course, yeah, that's a remarkable thing when you tell me. Indeed, because I say if you want for be a papa in a house, now how you they grow.
Of course, now you set your precedent.
Exactly. So yes, President Bio supposed for us set a brighter example that before he become a president for the United Nations for just a month, he's supposed to show that example in Sierra Leone. Of course, I was expecting that this goes to the opposition supposed for debate him. Because anyhow, when you take a decision for a country, you have to get both sides. But the challenges in Sierra Leone, the president gets a long way for go. It gets a long way for go for settle them, if possible. But you want to see before Africa, you think about Africa and grow unless Sierra Leone starts first, because that's not the example way they show that the world say that this mirror will achieve in the country. You understand? Security challenges are many. Corruption is many, and sometimes.
All right, checking us. So let me put this question to you again: Is His Excellency the President fit for the position of being a president of the United Nations Security Council?
Of course, yes. Because why I say of course yes? This gives Sierra Leone for be part of the lead map and the world record. You know, say we don't first day another chair they far back to Sheikh Stephen regime. And it don't take decades. If President Bio don't come and fight very hard, and the African countries help him for fight very hard, imagine out of how many countries now only 4 vote for Sierra Leone. That meaning they accept him for the part of him. And as a Sierra Leone, we're supposed to support him any kind of way, because if Sierra Leone did not the world map today, it don't give you the landlight Sierra Leone any kind of way we peaceful. It don't mean the difference is what we get as a nation.
The reason why I ask this question now, because of the situation where they see in our country, of course, as you rightly mentioned, say, there are a lot of security threats in our country. The security, the peace and stability in the country, of course, not stable. So that was the reason we make her ask this question: if His Excellency the President is fit for that position. Because coming back home, you look at many things the way they happen. Of course, back then from when for me in term in office for my very first time, and this is not the second time, all of those things we don't happen. The reason make her ask that question if he is fit for that position.
Yeah, because any carry you have to look at the map outside Sierra Leone for the, all over the world there are challenges.
Sure.
If you look at Britain currently, what they happen at Britain, you get security threats. But that no means say you're not supposed to push your country for dinner the limelight. Imagine say you Sierra Leone, any side you go, let me say we your name be filmed along the line. Challenges and they all over the world in terms of governance. You go Kenya, you see the challenges where they you go Ghana, there are challenges all over the world because you find out that the world is facing a threat. Since the coming of the COVID, the countries around the world not ever get a peace. But sometimes it not means when you get then challenges and they for push your country for the limelight. Mind you, this allow investors for coming. Sierra Leone, the current situation are because of unemployment rates don't become too high and it could get a lot of security challenges. Okay. You remember the time where Africa may have been there. Sure. A lot of people in the upline they do their work, they don't care about politics. Right. But currently because of that idleness, you find out cushion tramadol don't become the thing of the medicine of the country. Because the youth don't become idle. But if there are jobs where they are available, security threats will be minimized. In terms of security. But it's a beautiful idea, to me, as a journalist. And for the map, the World Book of Record, it's a welcome news for Sierra Leone.
All right. Remember, say that's not the voice of Chegino C, the managing editor for the Independent newspaper. Of course, they take me to the analysis of the front page name now the newspaper will get now so today. And away from that, we will take Ministers and Zod Lab address recent internet outage. Discuss future interconnection strategies. Of course, of recent, we see the Chief Minister Bipul Wadnado say, well, they try very hard for we get monetization now the country for all social media platforms. But then, firstly, one for no which now you take, being the fact that we get a lot of challenge with internet connection, we face now, Salon.
Of course, these are discrepancies. Okay. In terms of thinking about the internet system. It was yesterday I left about 20 years on my phone under the company one not go mention name. Okay. When I wake up this morning, the money is gone. Wow. That I tell you, see, challenges there everywhere. But in terms of internet connectivity, Sierra Leone, I think in the sub-region we backward. When you go to countries like Ghana, where you buy your data, you get use of if you buy for 24 hours, they make sure you do anything we available for the user 24 hours without interruption. Not like Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, I'm not know if not the system or not the administration are not too very good in terms of giving the service needed to the people. And sometimes I blame the government. In anywhere where you get a network like then network away they want to mention their names, you're supposed to monitor them effectively for letting people them where they buy the data or whatever where they spend within their phones and let them able get super network. Because you will make use of your money because you pay for it. Okay. Service where you pay for is supposed to be an effective service, not as we get into we begin get internet problem. Sometimes until we see we get fiber optic. Well, I don't know how effective this fiber optic is. Because anywhere in the world with fiber optic they operate, you find out you do not get a breakdown in communication. For Sierra Leone, I don't know if the ministries and they talk to or the networks themselves will get the system themselves then they talk through. And this need to be stopped. If the minister they say let them do reforms because then they think about. Right. You can't do reforms where you don't get proper network. I know we can't pay for the service we and feel say they will work. I know we can't buy me data, buy like a 50 or 30 millions. Yeah. Then I know you will use them. At the end of the day, before time don't know, they say you data don't. It's a selfish game to say Leoneans.
So which means are you saying the chief minister not able to achieve all of those things because being the fact that we face with a lot of internet challenge and then people though they are working things behind the scene for the ensure they get agreement because according to the minister of Communication and Innovation, it always say, well, it try now for the government of Saloon get agreement with the Guinean government for we get that kind of same internet connection. And you feel that this go happen?
We pray for it happen. Because in any country where you ever pray for the good. No matter however the situation or circumstances can be within that end time frame then they. But for Siam achieve very, very lean. Because you look at where this government came in power and talk about the fight against corruption. Even the president say if not his sister whatever we corrupted their whole land. But you look at the corruption within the country, starting from any institution where you go down to the layman. So meaning the fight against corruption not able to succeed. So you look at the same thing when they come to this internet system. Okay. How effective? Because this current government say and will make sure say everybody gets a free WhatsApp on the internet system. The previous government, when at the APC, then carry the fiber optic, we then do the connectivity, do the 100%, and not be able to succeed. But you find out, see, we get a lot of lapses. People and chop money, and how true if this one not going to be the same?
The reason, let us just quote from the minister. Salim Abba, because the reason we make it so we get internet challenge now because some people they cut the fiber of the fiber cable, internet cable. You feel say it is because of all of those circumstances make we still get internet challenge in the country?
Yeah, of course. Salima Fono say she was a journalist before being a minister. Okay. And sometimes when you say the thing, you have to say the truth.
And she's often with things.
Of course, you have to say the truth for let things not become judgmental against you someday. But for who they pray, like me they say, I know we talk too much on that, they pray for like you achieve on that day because we say once you say you know the lamplight. If we get a serious effective internet system, you find out this be internet system where we get to become a thing of the past. Me and you to go through the internet, do everything where effectively you pay for them and enjoy the service. Not to pay for the service, not to enjoy them. And I go pray they will achieve that. I will pray they effectively monitor. But may know see anytime we try for do implementation, get people already in the back way would try for draw you back. I don't think they get for try for like effect. And being a journalist before you become a minister, you get for no say those are the challenges and you get for fight very hard for the achieve on that.
All right, away from the Awoko newspaper, the very first, then again, I go take now Makeni City suffer rain and flooding. Firstly, the begin we don't can this BNTM, of course, and according to the report we don't get now the very first and this then kind of by near the Apuna Salon and some parts in Freetown. But then firstly, tell me what time you take on the plenty again that we don't can before we can to the flooding we happen at Makeni of recent.
Yeah, the plenty against where they happen at the country. But not even the countries across the sub-region, they tell we say we don't face this climate change. Okay. We all, as a nation, therefore try for the visits. You find out, see, a lot of skis and where they don't cut within Freetown, in fact, not talk less of the other provinces. Okay. And they allowed the veracity of the breeze where they come very heavily. Mind you, the water is just there, but the breeze, they destroy. So you find out, say, if we get any problem in terms of the rain, because of this climate change we don't face, and until we're able to revisit the system, we'll be able to change effectively.
All right, so now coming to the incident that happened at Makeni of recent, the government for understand safe flooding because of the beginning we come flooding and of course happened at Makeni. Firstly, how you they describe that scenario the way happened at Makeni?
The scenario we happened at Makeni to me not doubtful because I'm a breed from Makeni. Okay. I start my life from Makeni before coming to Freetown. Okay. And back days where we small, there are areas where they call no red zone where you're not supposed to build house. But in Makeni currently, you find out, say, even the side when the waterways not there again. The availability for the passage of water not there again. So if the rain come and destroy most of the part of Makeni, to me, it's not a news. I know say you get what happen. You look at Dagbane Road, you look at Mabanta Road, we effectively then got us and they're supposed to go. The mayor and whosoever were in charge now the ministry in Makeni, they allow for selling places and the end you get for allow them. Like I tell you no more, we get a climate change. Sometimes when they do something, you have to look at the prosperity we get for happen. You think about say this is like the future, not about now. You understand? So the flood in Makeni, to me not a news because I know if you get for a ban for happen. Okay. Until Makeni try for revisit the system, go back to the old days and try for say the area where the water they let them allow that free passage. Let them broke all the houses and the way they within the water passage. You understand? Now, only that they will minimize. Even if they take, they go build whatever they get for building. If the water not get passage, water, now the wind it they work out with. Beside the wind blow, they go heavily. So for allow for stop that kind of what is if you get for allow the water like get you free passage. So let me advise.
All right, so basically, you want to say waiting happen at McKinney na natural something na natural something happen.
In natural, and moreover artificial, because when you say something natural, it is from God, of course, yes. But what to make it artificial because of people we know say this supposed to ban for happen, we natural and not allow for become natural. Like I tell you no more, and in the 80s, 70s, 90s, we have been near McKinney to the 2000s. You find out say even Banner Road, Mabanta Road, water the flood without houses and the day. Because the bridge and build within that area, they not been gets that free passage of water. So if now those places are embedded with houses, what do you expect? You must expect that one day. So you not go see everything is natural, artificial because of people don't come and engulf on that area there. So sometimes we go say natural because of it's from God. But if you can be an impediment towards them, you know go blame God totally and entirely.
Checking on see the reason why I ask that question, it is because of this plenty we don't come. Of course, you meant to understand. So you agree with me, say flooding and a lot of property then don't spoil as a result of the rain. Of course, for story they don't broke and all of those things. So like that's the reason make I ask that question. If not natural something we happen at McKinney.
It bound for happen. The rains are supposed to happen. You find out in rain season will get. Anytime we rain and come heavily, we must get those challenges.
Okay.
But if you check back in the 80s and 90s, free turn we get flooding. But rains have become effectively.
Sure.
What it caused that one day because of the area where water get passage all on block. Now these are the repeats. It's natural that rain they come heavily. But if the rain they come heavily, it gets that thing where they stabilize the rain and the wind. You know, the disaster it will come but not that heavily. Then when we go to even to America, we find out they get one side in Florida, then we get recently we get flooding. What it cause that one day because winds they blow very heavily, they not get steals away they block that wind there. So the wind they carry the water, and at the same thing they happen. In fact, we make Sierra Leone self we are more blessed because they look at the challenges where don't happen. People don't build to the water high when the ocean because I know to see. Water not they get that free passage.
Sure.
No, until government get the free will for let them do something for do change on this. But it really challenging, no. I'll not tell you.
All right, viewers and listeners, remember say the program is still listen and watch now the Liberty newspaper review the country life now the Liberty online television and maybe they bring the program to you mean the video KCC and remember say this program na program way of course with the analyze and of course we review the top stories of the front page of the newspaper them and remember say still with me now the program I get checking Abdullah checking on see what happen for be the managing editor for the independent newspaper. Of course they do with me sitting at the studio for review and analyze some of the issues that we'll get now the front page of the newspaper. Well away from that our newspaper we go straight to the Unity newspaper and the very first front page we will take now the Unity now it's time for action. Africa cannot wait any longer and of course then say President Bio radical inclusion concept rock the United Nations Security Council and another one I will take now radical inclusion is unstoppable and of course these now some of the issues then you don't listen. Of course now it's time for Africa. Now it's time for action. Africa cannot wait any longer. So basically what do you take because Africa competing with the Western world. I mean what's your take on that?
To me, Africa for compete with the Western world is supposed to be bound for B.
Okay.
Because Africa as a continent, we got 2.something billion people. And if only the West allowed the African continent for unite or become a unification, then society come out from there, they come seek employment. And if the presidents then are within Africa, because this is not only the decision from one president.
Of course.
Until we then debate on. If president from Sierra Leone decided for call for reforms at the United Nations, because of waiting the old Sidom and decide that we Africa, we fed up with the challenges of the IMF, World Bank and other institutions that we, they subdue the process in terms of growth. But being at United Nations and fight against most of them things they already make Africa reverse back, now you welcome news because it really they push Africa at the world map. If you go to some countries in the world, they don't even know Africa they exist.
Sure.
If you say in Africa they live, they tell you who's part of Africa monkeys.
Sure.
Come on. Are we not human beings? Now we, the Africans, develop the West. Now we, the Africans, will develop any side of the world. Because when you look, Africa very, very, very strong for doing anything. So time for reforms for Africa and Africa for compete with the West is a welcome news. And I pray that Africa challenges this kind of event.
You know, so with all the prayers that we pray for Africa, of course, so be it. Yeah, because of course I'm an Africa person. But you feel say Africa will compete with this kind of action where they want for take?
Yeah.
That of the Western world, because
of course
they say and say, well, they are 10 times richer than Africa.
No. They are not 10 times richer than Africa, mind you. When you say I'll tell you one thing: the West they boast of the reserve. Reserve is from Africa. I'm not a Pan-Africanist, but I'm almost a Pan-Africanist, being a journalist. Far back then, where I go to China, there are a team where they call think tank. You don't mind it, China take a very shorter period for develop.
Okay.
So if Africa itself gets that privilege, say we want a change. You know, when you think about raw material, you think about everything within the West is from Africa. The riches of the West, World Bank and IMF, they think they reserve from Africa. So if Africa decided for change then thoughts, then they say it's high time Africa starts for develop on their own. Go to countries like Nigeria. Nigeria they make motor cars currently. You understand? Kenya they develop vehicles. There are challenges though in terms of the know-how on how you get for changing things in it. But when you look, I take an example, the think tank of China. Okay. They are a component of the young youth that we come there, say we decide for law we change China, and it become an effective tool. So if this back now a challenge for Africa, then self wants an effective tool, we able to compete the West, we able to change the West any minute, any second. I tell you back with the beats them back.
Are you sure? You sure of the resources? Because
of course, the resources are there. Everything is there.
Yeah, we know. I'm not dispute the fact that the resources are not there. They are there, but the mindset of the people in Africa is different from that of the people in.
Everything is possible. Everything in life is possible. I tell you this: there are things that we're born for change. Okay. Anything is possible. If the African leaders, mind the corruption in Africa from the African leaders are the cowards. But if these same African leaders, where they go cry to the West, where they go buy things from the West, they don't decide say we need a change. You understand? Then try for develop that one. We get people away now, technocrats away the outside, we get scientists away now, black Africans. You understand? Where they develop the Europe and America and Asia. If they want to do that, say, let me come back to Africa. Look, what you don't go along, can do like what in China do? China they take their citizens, they go study in America in terms of any other technology. Right. Where they can do the implementation. If they happen back then, this late Gaddafi in regime, okay. they pay citizens and they go study outside and can develop their country. If Africa think like that, within a second, Africa will change.
So the question I want to ask now, how soon this change will come?
How soon? It depends to the African leaders.
Of course, what is the question? We will not put their mindset together. How soon is this change?
Until the corrupt leaders and decide for change their mindsets. Because it's all about corruption. You one day remain in power for 20-25 years.
And the fight of corruption is everywhere in Africa. When you go to any part of Africa,
they succeed. Nobody in Africa will succeed in the fight against corruption. I tell you that.
So how you feel the change go where corruption is rampant in Africa?
Until the leaders and be learn some things, we don't decide for change.
Okay.
Because life need a change. If you say within you go there in your household, you don't decide say, I need for change me outset it. If you decide to do that within you, they do it, they change. Now the same thing with Africa. If the African leader, they're very serious, they're very, very serious, say yes, it's high time Africa change, we will win the battle. But if you also done it by this mild corruption, epidemic corruption we did in Africa, it's a big challenge like what you see, it's a big challenge, but they anticipate see let it happen and it bound for happen. Because we African tired for begin to travel like the desert and wait for seek for greener pastures.
Yeah.
Whilst everything is here.
Of course.
So it's a big challenge, but like you they say, I dey pray. I'm tired for praying.
In fact, we all pray to, I mean, in fact, God don't answer our prayer again for Africa. Because we leaders don't want to change their mindsets, and this is very bad. All right, away from that, let me take radical inclusion is unstoppable. Firstly, of course, the chief minister, na idea than they bring radical inclusion. But then firstly, we want to know how you, from a journalistic point of view, how you would describe the radical inclusion where chief minister they talk about.
Sometimes the word they can say I'm not able to ascribe to them. They can say radical inclusion. What do you mean by radical inclusion? Are all sectors represented in government? Are all, I don't know, but in all sectors, are there representative in government? And then waiting at the commitment, because when you say radical inclusion, they include everybody within the system or outside the system for develop, for make a change. But how effective this tool, where the minister say, how effective it be? I'm not going to say, but as a journalist, we are still challenged. We still get a very long way for me to achieve within the minister they say so. Because you know, say there are government we don't pass the previous government we then see and they do government of inclusion. But you find out say marginalization they take place.
Of course.
So even this government they not get 100% inclusion. I bet you. So let you accept no more. Then allow the young people, the young folks for come inside the system rather than the previous government when are the old what they say old.
Well, may not go describe that one as radical inclusion. Of course, then you get rid of the color. Fully include young people in governance. That is not radical inclusion. Of course, you actually don't describe what's radical inclusion. But if you go rate these governments currently, what's the degree you give them for the inclusion?
Inclusion is 2060.
2060.
Of course.
So which means there is nothing to write home about.
Well, nothing good to write home about, but sometimes you have to start somewhere.
Okay.
Like waiting the president industry, if you go to the United Nations, go represent Africa, and they tell you have to get somewhere for start. So this is a start, and I know say this rate where I get to. Some people will hate me about that, but it's the actual fact. As a journalist, and let them open the space.
Okay.
Let them open the space for allow all political parties, all politicians to play the game well without get security threat, without getting any involvement from say where you go do your rights and we'll put you so then we'll put you. And mind you, the president can say he allowed a freedom of speech.
Okay.
So we want to see effectively how it go work, effectively how it will achieve them.
It's been 6 years now from where His Excellency take power. So we know the experience. We know the experience. Freedom of speech.
Well, we halfway to get freedom of speech. Mind you, as they tell you, there are challenges all over the world in terms of this. Okay, the coming of the internet system don't become a very big challenge at the world.
Okay.
You find out, see, we get the countries that we don't get this uprising just because of the internet system was effective. Okay. And it really disturb even the media, the mainstream media. Yeah. Because you get people that will just believe, say, then they end up for just spoil the country in name. Yeah. So those are the challenges. But I'm not saying we will surpass them because all over the world, things that we ban for happen and sure. It will happen.
It seems like you don't pray for Salon too much. Let us just link this one. We say President Bill Radical Inclusion work the United Nations Security Council. So what's your take? President Bill and Radical Inclusion.
How?
The United Nations.
How? I don't even understand President Bill Radical Inclusion rock United Nations. How? What is that the yardstick we then take for giving that kind of perception? What is that the yardstick? What is the whose measurement we then do? Who is involved for let President Bill carry radical inclusion at the United Nations? Except these reforms where you go for go fight. Reforms where you go for go fight, not for EU.
Okay.
It's about the African continent. It's not about Sierra Leone. Although he did it as a president of Sierra Leone, but he's there to represent Africa. So I don't know what's the radical inclusion we do at the United Nations. To me, it's a remarkable, and they talk this, it's a remarkable achievement for Africa and Sierra Leone. For we will advocate, let's say we advocate, Africa forget 2 permanent seats and 5 non-permanent seats. It's a remarkable achievement. But waiting at the radical inclusion, I know you will understand what they mean by radical inclusion. Because it's radical inclusion, they bring all sectors on board in order for form one entity and speak the same language. Or is that being that the president don't include all the African leaders and speak the same voice? That's then they try to talk about radical inclusion. If that's, well, it's possible.
It's possible. All right, so away from the unity in the newspaper, let me come to the drone newspaper. And the very first one I will take now, ACC mortgage accountability. Of course, you agree with me, say, the coming of His Excellency the President, it always say, and it go abolish corruption. And that was the more reason he chose the current ACC chairman, Ben Kaifala, and the president of Ben Kaifala. Yeah, but then they are telling us the ACC don't mortgage the accountability. What's your take with regards to corruption in the country and with regards to the ACC itself?
Corruption in Sierra Leone, I think very, 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 very hard to fight. Because corruption, you fight you back. Okay. It was the former president we in exile now, because in exile. You see, if a mama corrupts, let them ola. Okay. Effectively, it starts that process and become, I don't know how to call it, a little bit achievable. Okay. Just after your mama die, corruption become a canker. Find out the only ministers, everybody in the institution become corrupt. Oh. Now, if President Bio come, he say in the fight against corruption, and he tell me back say corruption get for fight back until you get for we don't stand against. But when you look corruption currently, corruption become a canker. They say a canker because it is worsening. Now, it was day before yesterday I meet up one officer we are not calling him. He collect money before me. When I approach with him, what he tell me? He say he get for working boss. So Ben Kaifala, in achievement on the fight against corruption, are not Siam, and he really, I don't know how to talk about him. And then they get within the Scorpion Squad where then they go trade it and they go find out about people where they do corruption. Okay. This Scorpion Squad is dead. They never exist completely. If you get issues in terms of corruption, when you go to ACC, you go lodge complain. Then they take it serious. Because if somebody can't tell you, say, so person don't do this, or so traffic police officer, I get evidence of corruption. Videos and the way they don't catch officers, the way that they collect money. ACC don't ever go investigate these people. Because I think themselves gets their own personal gains. Because if you don't get personal gains, if the president puts you under, now for achieve, not to for come, I can see Ben Kaifala, all the achievement we don't do for all the opposition leaders, and because we don't day before, they don't serve governments and they don't day inside corruption. But currently, let them show you one minister waited all for corruption as earlier. Current government. So it's not not an achievement. Although the MCC they push with the fight against corruption with the obvious.
Because now don't have the question we want to ask. It's all about the songs of praise way that they
perception.
Give the Anti-Corruption Commission and that of the Ben Kaifala say.
It's all about perception.
He's doing very good work in terms of corruption, and corruption we don't leverage corruption to some level. You feel say, I mean, worthy of that praises.
Of course, in the country, sometimes you have to praise the country. Because when you want good things, you have to look at the advantage and disadvantage. Okay. But to the layman, if you go ask her now, you say, what's in corruption, you go tell you to go to market. But this is all about perception. United Nations and whatever you have to stick with and take, America, MCC, whatever you have to stick with and take for do measurements, say, we do up there for the fight against corruption. It's a perception. Did they go to the layman? They don't go to the street and see how the drivers they suffer. They don't go to the street and see how people they suffer. They don't go to the schools and where teachers and they collect money. Schools and are open right now. When they go, teachers and they demand money. And these are all things that way to be. Sierra Leone, I don't know. Now when the last time I tell you, say the beautiful ones are not yet born, and I still remain on that day. How corruption will minimize? Where you find out, see, to the least man you know it's not corruption. If I then office, I want within 5 years, I don't get any mutuka for don't build me house. You know, those are all achievements where you feel say go able to do, but check. How you get something and the legality where you get them? None. Check the current ministers and check the current administrators away there. Let them tell you about say this property I get them legally. Now out of corruption. If you want to go do contracts, you go like this bidding. Somebody go do bidding.
Okay.
And that bidding get percentage. If you don't give me the percentage, you not go win the bidding. Yeah? Look at what happened this Mashaka Highway. You know, sometimes where they see this road, they point me at totally and entirely. I know see the corruption I under is dumb, and you know say 1 kilometer. Any of the institution, the SLRA, SLRT, whatever, everyone they get their own percentage.
Sure.
Even the monies that they collect currently, they get their own percentage.
Not that's it.
Of course. So the fight against corruption, if Ben Kelva want to be one of the people away who left at the history books and you get for Asians leaves them and tie into us, it's very hard and allowed people them, mean say pass you work for people them we get Africa, Sierra Leone attacked. Then they go out there and do the investigation and key. Sometimes we get some journalists away, we don't do the investigations on this fight against corruption, but some of our colleagues them back, law left and that way, but corruption. So
how we can see if we do comparison now with the then government, that's the APC, and this current government, how you compare the two? Well, in terms of corruption.
Well, APC and SLPP corruption. It was APC accused them as 30%. Why I say why we give them 70%? Why I give APC 30%? Now APC don't corrupt and they pull minister instead of the sack and transfer to another institution. Okay. You understand? Then you must see them. I don't want formation about sometimes you get for one.
Sure.
SLPP now they see the fights, it happen. The visibility of that fight but the achievement of it might not the problem. Because if you get the will for fights, as you don't begin the fight, what they can say politics, they can say you know the pie in Pekina you want own, or you because we are opposition I make you want own we. You say the advantage and disadvantage are there.
You know a lot of corrupt practices that don't happen inside this government. It ranges from the Jar Kai, of course the Parani issue and all other issues that don't happen. But at the end of the day, ACC they come out and talk to the public, say, okay, so far so good, this is what we've investigated and this is the outcome of the investigation. So you don't feel say it's all upon those things, they're not worthy forget 70%.
Well, the issue why me give them 70%, I look at the rate which MCC give the ACC compared to the previous government, looking at the APC. Now that I rate them for, I not rate them within me, but I rate them accordingly waiting I don't see out there. The area of Parantarawali and others, you find out, I don't tell you this, Sierra Leone like system. If me not the pie in Pikin, me not the pie in Yai, it's difficult for them pull me totally entirely.
Sure.
They will put me at the back bench, make like see it is true investigation I'm going through. At the end of the day, they go put me back the same institution. But so be it. For corruption, let we continue for fight and let we continue for change. The best way, like which are the same, but the best way Sierra Leone will change in the fight against corruption is these two political parties. Until people will learn decide for change the country in thought in terms of politics. Even if APC or SLPP achieve the fight against corruption, if SLPP come at the opposition, APC run after them because of they don't corrupt, they will begin announced all over the news.
Sure.
That this is a political witch hunt. Of course, which we they see. Now South Africa see former president begin all for corruption and lock up.
Oh.
Sierra Leone decrease. Corruption, you go former president, you put on a cell. Everything they go say, these are witch hunts. So
that brings me back to the question where say Africa for they achieve what they want to achieve. You know, it far. In fact, to me, I understand it is not possible for them to compete with the Western world. It's not possible.
Not go say not possible. Like you always get, I always say look at the
because when you look at the corrupt practice of African leaders, it's nothing good to write home about.
It is true. It is true that nothing good to write home about the African leaders. But sometimes you get to think the positive way. China was more corrupt than any country around the world. You know, the fights, whether they fight in terms of development, which because they bring China because I don't be there.
Okay.
And I know what China take for let them develop. So they are more corrupt in any country where you find out corruption don't become a cankerworm. If the people and decide, you know, this retire with them, without the system, Lord think now say, no, we come up here, Lord go face the West. Now so China take develop. Like I tell you what the think tank. If Africa back we get a think tank then in Africa, but if the leaders are not decide now, say they don't tie with corruption, let them decide. Because there's a big problem. Let them decide, say they don't tie with corruption. Let them decide, say we tie for people more than at the West. Now long we develop, we continue. When you die at the West, they get the same thing, then they go put you. But when you die in Africa, then they give state barrier. Oh. So if you then don't decide now, say we need for bring reforms in Africa, for long we bring that change. To me, sometimes I can give them positive feedback because you don't go think. I tell you, everybody rely for a change. I'm not gonna be criminal till I die. Not possible. Right. And I'm not gonna be that good man till I die. I must get one or two things away audible about me. So now like this, Africa gets for change, but we don't know if not this today or tomorrow. But Africa get for change.
So be it.
I pray
so be it. So the very last one we will take because of the time now. Slam calls for suspension of MCC fund to Bio's government. Slam's call for suspensions of MCC funds to Bio government. Of course, a lot of discrepancies they don't come, a lot of issues they don't arise with regards to MCC money way therefore get alone. But then, firstly, how you look at this scenario? What make you feel say that they call for suspension?
Well, they call for suspension because of what happened at the previous elections. Okay. Because that's all leading about NTR. But c'est a little matured.
So are you saying that, well, the because of what happened at the election make the call for suspension?
Of course, I think that. You know, say there are discrepancies between the two political parties, and when they talk, say we need for the rerun from us, no rerun. We bring about the tripartite. The tripartite become the talk of the country.
Of course,
we don't say
famous in the country.
Of course, you know, say no institution or the way get the mandate for do a rerun except the Supreme Court. Sure. If the Supreme Court not decide, no institution or the way they decide. If there were the call for a slam, to me, it's not good for the country. It's not good. It don't happen. Let's move forward as a nation. You fight against the government currently. They are there for 5 years.
So let us intercept a little bit. So which means the election was not free and fair?
I can't. No, the election. Okay.
Because surrounding the call for suspending the MCC's fund. Because of waiting happened at the election, which means the election was not fair.
Of course, the elections is free and about fear. I think it's free. You know, say
the question is, was the election free and fair?
The election is free. Fair, transparent is about them, not on me. Okay. Calling for these reforms, what they talk about, you know, say the tripartite call about electoral reforms, not call about the Gigon. If these two political parties don't decide how we go forward, why other institution they go call for a suspension? If you call for a suspension, they give us the country, and they tell you to say this person gets 5-year mandate. Sure. After 5-year mandate, other person they can seek. 5 years to your age is a plus.
Sure.
You become ageable. Mm-hmm. So why we not go allow we work as a team, as a country, we allow this current president let it go about his normal business for bring reforms at the country and move forward. think about 2028 elections, on how that election will become transparent, accountable, and whatever, what have you. If you then call for suspension, and then money there wouldn't they call for suspension, so you get a long way for develop the country in terms of energy sector, health sector, and then so on and so forth. So to me, I'm not too happy about that slam.